Sie hören Sport und Musik.
Das Spiel ist aus! Deutschland ist Weltmeister!
Mario Götze! Mario Götze!
Tonight, whether you call it football, or soccer, a German American and a German in America dare to call it Fußball. German Fußball from an American point of view. Let's add some buns to that hamburger and join them for the Schnitzel Boys Deutschland Hour.
Jawohl!
Hello.
Hello.
Good evening. Whoa.
Hello, Bjorn.
What
Wow,
happened
did you
there?
do that?
No.
You faded it out. Someone faded it out.
Wow, that was very sudden. I did not mean to do that.
Oh, well, it's okay. It's okay. That was a little sudden. It's an artisanal, homegrown podcast.
You wanna go back to the? You don't have to.
I do have another German song. Continuing on from last week. Guess what came out today?
Rhubarb Song, the sequel?
Yeah, did you see it?
No, I did not.
Yeah, literally, the Rhubarb Song, the sequel, came out today.
I was just guessing.
No, you were right. You were 100% correct.
Right.
Here it is. It came out 3 days ago. It's quick. I'm not going to... Hold on. There's an ad here. Let's lift the ad.
All right, let's see
Because,
it.
before we get into... It is the German soccer. We are a German
Yeah, it's
cultural...
not much going on. Not much going on anyway.
Well, always something going on.
That's not true.
Hey, well, this is quick.
Oh, here we go. The Rhubarb Bar.
Erinnert ihr euch noch alle an Barbara und ihre sagenumwobene Rhabarber? Ja, in der Rhabarber von Barbara wurde damals nie der Rhabarberer. Denn in Barbaras Rhabarber gab es, wie ihr wisst, einen Rhabarberkuchen, den man nicht so schnell vergisst. Der war schon seit Jahren sehr beliebt bei 3 Barbaren, denn Barbaren wissen, was Rhabarber ist. Barbaren wissen, was Rhabarber ist. Wissen, was Rhabarber ist. Dann gab's auch noch den Barbaren Barbarbier. Mit dem waren die Barbaren fast jeden Abend hier und tranken stets mit ihnen nach Feierabend ihr Barbaren Barbarbier. Und da der Barbarbier wirklich jeden Abend hier war, brauchte Barbara für die Rhabarber-Bierbar bald eine zusätzliche Tresenkraft, damit sie nicht alleine hinter Tresen schafft. Und so stand am nächsten Tag auf einmal Bärbel am Tresen. Die war klug, charmant, sehr belesen. Da war's auch schon um jeden in der Rhabarber-Bar geschehen. Komm, warte mal, diese schöne Wesen hinterm Tresen stehen sehen. Der Barbarbier rief: Bärbel, du bist die Frau, für die ich hier all mein Hab und Gut verscherbel. Ich wünschte, du wärst meine Rhabarbaren Barbarbier-Bierbar, Bärbel. Auch die 3 Barbaren waren derbe am Werben. Für ein Lächeln von Bärbel würden sie sterben. Aber all ihr Werben wurde von Bärbel ignoriert. Denn Bärbel war vor allem an Barbara interessiert. Und da war auf beiden Seiten klare Sympathie. Ganz offenbar war außer Bärbel auch die Barbara Bier. Es erschien ein Regenbogen in den strahlendsten Farben, als sich Barbara und Bärbel das Ja-Wort gaben. Die Party stieg darauf in der Rhabarberbar. War ja klar, man sollte ihresgleichen suchen. Der Barbarbier war da, die Barbaren waren da und es gab natürlich reichlich Rhabarberkuchen. Die 3 Barbaren servierten dazu ein Rhabarbaren-Barbecue. Und zum Tanz spielten später dann die ganz und gar nicht Faden baden nach Rhabarber-Barbaladen. So sagten also beide zueinander ja, die Rhabarber-Barbara und ihre Bärbel, hurra! Und bald kam auch geschwind Meister Adebar und brachte ein Kind in die Rhabarberbar. Es waren außer Bärbel und Barbara natürlich auch der Barbarbier und die Barbaren für das Baby da. Sie alle waren wie eine Riesen-Family und sie gaben dem Kind den Namen Emily. Schön würde später den Barbershop übernehmen oder Barbara hinterm Tresen stehen. Baby, es war schließlich das Rhabarbaren Bierbar Baby.
And there you go.
All right.
What do you think?
Yeah, more of the same, really, right? But better outfits this time, I would say. Those suits were nice.
Well, they were matching. I mean, they should do a whole album. You know how Daft Punk released a whole album movie where it was like a full album and they were like animated or whatever?
This is the Rhabarber album.
Yeah, and then Tante Babel, her name is. I had an aunt named Babel. Babel is the nickname of Barbara, right? Was
My
Babel?
brother's wife's mom's name is Bärbel.
Bingo, and my aunt was named Babel. So there's plenty, and rhyming family with Emily. Thumbs up.
I mean,
worked.
Yeah,
In a German accent. In a German accent, it works.
Very solid. Yeah, family is I guess is a German word now.
Family, Emily.
Family rhymes
But
with
in a
Emily.
German accent, it's the same.
Family, Emily.
Family, Emily.
Well, this is the happiest.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, everybody.
This is the happiest I'm going to be in this hour because it's all going to be downhill. Going to be downhill from now.
So last week I asked, are we going to have the Schnitzel Boys miracle? That's Köln, Bochum, and Mainz all saved. Köln, bye-bye, unfortunately. They got slammed there at the end.
They
it was
were-
close for Cole.
They
almost,
were, well, I mean...
or it got
wasn't-
closer. It was like, oh, it's a possibility, but...
Well,
No,
they
Cole's-
fought very hard to remain relevant until the last day, but then
Final whistle.
But then 15 minutes in, it was over because they were
Yeah.
down. They were down 2-0, and it was not happening.
Köln is back von Fenster.
Because they needed to win, they needed Union to lose, and they needed to make up a bunch of goal difference. Yeah, so that was a long shot. Anyway, and
But Mainz finished the season in 13th place.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Look at them go. The miracle of Mainz. Mainz really
Little
did
bit
turn
like
around.
little bit like Bochum did last season. We got our win at the against Leverkusen. Well, yeah, this was.
Well, hold on. Mainz was deep in the basement, and they just kept winning and winning and winning.
Mm-hmm.
And now they didn't just save themselves. They're in 13th place. Seba S was talking about how happy. He was like, we're going to 15th place. Screw 15th place. You got 13th place. So good on you, Mainz. The right coach, the right feelings. Mainz really turned themselves around and saved themselves for another season in the Bundesliga. However, Bochum is what we're here for. Bochum lost pretty heavily to Werder Bremen last weekend. And they find themselves now in the relegation playoff spot.
I was strangely calm. That was probably a bad sign. I was strangely calm at the beginning of the day because we had a lot of outs. We needed Mainz to lose or Union to not win. That would have either of those would have been enough. Or we needed a point, which I thought Bremen perhaps might be a little disinterested, but.
Right.
Yeah, I thought there were a lot of ways to safety, but that as the afternoon went on, it became increasingly clear that things were not going our way. That clearly there was not going to be a point. We were not going to get a point in Bremen. Then Mainz was not going to lose. That also became pretty clear eventually. And then Freiburg kind of was our last hope, and they got the equalizer, and I thought. Oh, they got the late equalizer, and I thought that might be the ticket, but then another penalty that was saved first and then only scored in the rebound that sealed our fate. And so Bochum now against Düsseldorf, and I don't have a lot of I mean I haven't been super optimistic for a while, and I continue to not be for this one. My little brother lives in Düsseldorf, and he was talking shit on the group chat, saying how Düsseldorf was gonna kill us, and I didn't really have anything to respond with. I mean, we needed 1 point and we lost 5-0 and 1-4 against teams that really had nothing much to play for, and
well, maybe that was
pretty pathetic. It was
pretty
pathetic. It was pretty pathetic, these performances. And now, as of today, the latest news is that goalkeeper Manuel Riemann will not be part of the squad for these 2 relegation games. And we haven't really heard why exactly. The team has said it's not a punishment, it's not a suspension. It is just differences. There's differences.
This is weird.
Differences of opinion as far as the team goes, and unterschiedliche Auffassungen. So
Yeah, but what
different
does that
understanding. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. He thinks we should defend. Everybody else thinks.
I know, what's the
I don't know. What's the difference? Well, I mean, he has a.
He has a contract, right?
He has a contract, and I was saying on
a
a different group chat. I was like, everybody's kind of fed up with him because he's an emotional guy, and he does not shy away from being vocal with his teammates, and they definitely. And he had a lot of reason to be upset with them, and I think
sounds like he's right? I mean,
well,
losing 5-0, losing 4-1. The last few months, Bochum's just been stumbling down the stairs, right? And then you grab a couple.
I mean, it was really
enough.
only that road win over Union Berlin that even made us have this chance. But yeah, I mean, he's really, he has these antics where he's like, he gets very visibly frustrated with everybody. And I don't know, perhaps there was a straw that broke the camel's back, and people. I don't know what.
But
exactly,
these are the two. Hold on, bro. These are the two most important games of your season coming up. It dictates whether you stay in the top
it
flight,
doesn't seem.
or
This does not seem.
And the goalkeeper has a contract to play. He's not allowed to say no. If he's healthy, he has to play.
No, I don't think this was his idea. It doesn't sound like this was his idea. It sounds like this was the team's idea. He's not going to be part of the squad. I mean, we don't know what happened behind the scenes.
Still weird.
Clearly something happened, and
So you tell me, is this a good thing for Düsseldorf?
I don't see.
Lehmann?
I mean, I can't see how this is a good thing for Bochum. I don't know. I mean, we have been a mess for a while, and except for that Union game, I guess that win against Hoffenheim, but we needed 4 and 3 goals to win, respectively. So defensively, this team's been very, very bad, and we will see. We will see. Oh, David Reach has a different take. He says there were some shots where the Bochum goalie literally didn't move on the shot. He spent all his energy flipping out on the defense. Yeah, there's something to that. I mean, he is. It was interesting to read the comments on Twitter to this, because a lot of people were like, "This is crazy. We're playing into Düsseldorf's hands. This is the most. We can't do this." And other people were like, "Where is everybody pretending that he's like Manuel Neuer, like, because he is not, he's up and down. Like, he's a very sort of aggressive goalkeeper. He's playing very far forward, and he has often been good, and also he
blocks penalties, right?
He's very good. He's definitely very good with penalties. I mean, he's had his moments, but lately nothing's been working, and so I don't know if people
you
think
tell
that
me, Bjorn.
if there's a feeling that they need more togetherness, and and he has become too divisive a person in this defensive lineup. I mean, I could see. Listen, the results will tell us if this was a good. I mean, fair or unfair. We are going to see if we survive this relegation situation, it was a good move. If we don't, it wasn't. So that's as simple as that is. Andreas Lute, we will say, Andreas Lute's backup is very good. He played a bunch of games in the past, and he's fine. I mean, this is, I guess, a luxury that a lot of German teams have. Like, there's usually not a goalie problem. The backup is often good. And so that's the case in this case. I mean, he has a different style. Lute is not quite as pass happy as Riemann is, but he played well, so he's proven to a point. I mean, this is obviously a high pressure situation. I mean, there is real question marks about all of this, about leaving Riemann out, changing the coach so late in the year. Is Heiko Butcher has not covered himself in glory. Yeah, we had 3. Well, no, Lech, two. No, Lech was there the whole year.
I'm thinking of last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
real
he
quick
came
first,
last year.
audio
Yeah.
check. Can you hear me okay? You can hear me okay,
I
right?
can hear you fine, yeah.
Audio's good.
I can hear
Okay,
you
cool.
well.
Just want to double check.
Yeah.
So
Anyway,
if you look at the
whatever.
If you look at the Bochum roster, where would you say the quality is?
The quality?
Does Manuel
few and far
Riemann have
between.
the quality? Does Manuel Riemann have the quality to consider himself to be unhappy with the rest of his teammates?
Well, I think that's a weird way to put it. I mean, it's just that, with him, he's a very specific kind of guy, and it's the whole package. Like, he's a very emotional, and I guess that's part of his, that's part of his thing. So you can't have one without the other. I mean, and it seems like in this case, people decided they've had enough of him. And and like I said, only the results will tell us whether that was a good move or not. I'm not. I mean, the quality is hard to find. Asano was hurt a lot offensively. Antwi Ache has not played as much this year. We've tried a more defensive-minded lineup overall, and it hasn't really worked. And already, 3 of our best players are already pretty certain to leave. So it's like it's just the Bochum experience. It's never going to change. They're always going to be on the verge of relegation. And meanwhile, Düsseldorf is feeling.
Meanwhile, Düsseldorf is very
Thursday. I think it's the other way around. I think we're hosting first, which also I don't know how that's decided. That's kind of a disadvantage. I mean, usually the Bundesliga team wins, but it's not. It has happened since they brought back this relegation playoff in 2009, I believe. 3 times the second Bundesliga team has prevailed. So it does happen every once in a while, and I think
Thursday and Monday. So Monday morning next week, the fate of Bochum will be decided.
Afternoon, 2:30. Well, morning
LA
California.
time.
Yeah, morning California time.
2:30 p.m. New York
German
time.
Memorial Day will be memorable, perhaps.
Maybe they'll remember the
Bundesliga. I was part of a relegation playoff many moons ago before I came. I mean, as a spectator, obviously. But I saw it live. This was many years ago when I was still living there, and they one year they had to, when they were the Unabsteigbaren, before the unrelegatables, that was their nickname then, before they ever made it to the second Bundesliga, and they at one year had to survive a relegation playoff, which they did. But I mean,
now they're called the really Steichbar. What would be the new? The Steichbar, the consistent Steichbar.
I just saw on Wikipedia that they still have that. Wikipedia still has this nickname listed, but no, very much Absteichbar currently, I would say. I don't think I would bet a lot of money on Bochum. I mean, there's obviously a difference in quality.
Right.
The Bundesliga team is favored.
They're favorites.
Usually second Bundesliga teams, when they get promoted, they stock up. They get some reinforcements, and so in general, the Bundesliga team has an advantage. But I'm not super confident. This is one of those things. I mean, we've been saying like this is a year where the teams were pretty poor down there. So I can't say that I've watched a lot of Düsseldorf. I can't say that I have any specific opinions about them as a team or this matchup, but I'm not super optimistic.
That's the real loss for an overseas fan, for you. So if you follow Bochum, and for my dad who follows them every week, when they go to the second division, if you don't live in the area, it's then hard to follow them.
Yeah, you don't see them. Yeah, they don't have. I mean, ESPN.
There's a game of the week, but it's like it'll likely be Bochum maybe only 2 or 3 times throughout the year. Maybe who knows how they choose that. And then there you go. Your best bet is online radio and just reading
that's
articles,
true.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, but not like it's been so much fun the last few weeks. But anyway.
So I ask you. But so with that aside, if Bochum were to be relegated, would you kind of talking to our Cologne fans here? Is it nice to be in the second division and play with clubs of your appropriate wage bill? You know what I mean? Because especially for Bochum in the Bundesliga, it's just sit tight. Get your points and scrape through and try to survive, right? That's the Bundesliga experience. The Bundesliga 2 experience is like, all right, now we're on even footing.
Yeah,
let's go play some foosball with these guys.
We're a contender. Yeah, we should finish near the top somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's so much part of the club's identity, this like scrappy kind of being at the bottom of the Bundesliga. That was my experience throughout. I mean, back in the day, the first time they did finally go down, it was sort of fun, like to have see some other teams and etc. But like, I mean, this is just not, obviously this is not it's not what I'm rooting for. It is a little like, I don't know. I did find myself, and it's kind of, this is sort of almost blasphemy to say, but I find myself sort of tiring of the shtick a little bit. Like the fans are amazing, and I think that's cool in some ways. What am I trying to say? The fan culture is these days to me often so disconnected from the from what's actually happening on the field, and that I don't love. And
talking about in Bochum or just in general?
this is a symptom. I think what I'm trying to articulate is that I have that a general discomfort that I have with fan culture today kind of then becomes specific to Bochum. This idea that like people are just there to, do whatever and not. I was even thinking about this in the Bremen thing. Bremen has so many flags in their supporter section. It's like, how does anybody watch this game? It's like you have these flags because it's very difficult actually from my own experience.
Thing. So we're yeah, I mean,
what?
This is something we talk about all the time.
Yeah. But I'm saying,
but there's all these other fans too. There's a bunch of fans. It's not just them. It's
right.
Part of it.
But I'm saying in Bochum, it's especially now has become this like, there's a lot of shtick. Like when they, in Leverkusen, they do the pyrotechnic thing, and the game has to be stopped, and so there's a lot of kind of shenanigans, and that's fine. But at the same time, it's sort of disproportionate to what's actually on display on the field, and almost the club kind of doesn't really even feel maybe an obligation to improve because it's just all kind of part of.
They'll be there every week anyway.
It's like so.
Well, that's what I was going to bring up for a club like Bochum. Let's say they scrap and they stay in the Bundesliga forever, which they've done. What are they doing with all that money? They're not investing in the squad. They're not paying for player transfers.
You would hope that if they make it a third year, that there would be some some stability
signing,
to the.
Right?
But it's always there's always some players that overachieve. This is the same every year. There's always a couple players that catch the eye of more well-heeled clubs, and then they just leave. There's just no question. Like Kevin Stöger's going to go. Bernardo is going to go. Riemann is maybe done. Toto Luzia, the captain, he's 38. He's not long for this world.
If they relegate, Asano's probably going to go off somewhere else.
Well, probably. Yeah, but even if
Kevin Schlotterbeck.
Even if, he's been on loan, he's a loner. And so, regardless of whether we go up or go down, there's going to be a lot of turnover, and you're always like swapping out half the starters, and you're always sort of starting anew every season. There's rarely a lot of continuity these days. It was like that from last year to this year, and it's going to be the same again next year, regardless of first or second Bundesliga. So yeah, it's like, I mean, it's the proverbial pie eating contest where the first prize is more pie. Like if we win this,
but they want pie.
It's going to be more of the same. Yeah, if you like this, then it's gonna there's going to be more of it.
Well, they're the Bundesliga team. I'm rooting for them. Fortuna Düsseldorf, and it's funny because Fortuna Düsseldorf, their stadium is twice the size. Yeah, they're more. In a lot of ways, they're more fit to be a Bundesliga club. To be honest,
they're more ambitious. They have more money. Yeah, right. all of those things.
Bigger city.
So I think. Yeah, is anyone rooting for us? So in that sense, yeah. I mean,
that's not why I brought it up.
That's the flip side. That's the other, and this is those what I just talked to you about. Those are like the whispers in the back of my head.
This will make you feel better, Bjorn. This will make you feel better. The last time Fortuna Düsseldorf was in the Bundesliga, who was their starting goalkeeper?
Zach Steffen.
Exactly. That's all you need to know about.
Who really is? I mean, talk about you say.
That's just a clue.
Thomas Tuchel had a Jimmy Sands trained with Düsseldorf in one off season, and there was some talk that he may get a contract, but that never happened.
Yeah, but let all that be a clue to be like, don't be too scared. About
the talent ID is not great. Zach Steffen. You say Tuchel's got a good agent. He's got the best. Like, how is he?
I thought he's just an MLS goalkeeper now. He doesn't have the best. I mean,
he has not been great. He has not been good. Hasn't been good for Colorado. Everybody's like, oh, he's coming back he's going to be goalkeeper of the year candidate. No, he's not. No. He's not that good, unfortunately. Anyway,
I don't know who said goalkeeper of the year, but yeah. Anywho, I'm just trying to make you feel better.
Tom Bogert tweeted that. I think it's like instant goalkeeper of the year candidate when this was announced. Anyway,
good for them.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Okay, but Bochum against Dusseldorf Thursday, and then Monday. And I'm telling you, Bochum is the bigger team here. So, have faith. Have faith, my friend.
I mean, it could be. It's not a. Yeah, I don't think it's a foregone conclusion.
Bochum is the more war-hardened team between the two. Let's just put it that way. So, because Bochum's had stiffer opposition, and their iron creates iron. Iron strengthens iron.
And perhaps, I mean, you can also imagine a world where we're just playing second division opposition, and just the floodgates will open. Everybody's just like, oh, thank Jesus, I mean, there's a world where this could be decided. Yeah, nothing would surprise me. Let's say that. But I am rooting.
You just have another week left. You just have another week left. It didn't end yesterday. You get a whole another week.
That's what I was saying on the free. It's free soccer. Free soccer. Who wouldn't want this magical season to be over?
Nah, it just keeps going, Okay, so that's been on the bottom.
I mean, kind of. That was really the thing that was most. Everything else was kind of, not a lot of surprises, right? We had Hoffenheim, I guess. I mean, Heidenheim, shockingly. I guess we should mention that. Heidenheim got into that 8th spot, which is probably going to put them into Europe, considering, if Leverkusen wins the cup final or Dortmund win the Champions League, when these. So Heidenheim, we may have Heidenheim and Hoffenheim in Europe next week. That's going to be very confusing for some people.
The homes. The home of the Heiden and the home of the Hoffen. Good for them. Yeah, Pellegrino Monstratz to Hoffenheim got a good 4-2, but that wasn't about Hoffenheim. That game was about Bayern München. And Bayern München.
Bayern. Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's another.
Thomas Tuchel said something really, really cool. I wish I could remember what he said. It was like, what do you say? Oh, he said, I didn't want Roberto De Zerbi to ruin my German Super Cup trophy or something. He said something.
Oh, that's very funny.
I'm going to look it up right now. Because this loss means Bayern München are in 3rd place, and they're not eligible for the German Super Cup, which is some preseason tournament that starts the year.
It's one like our version. It's not a tournament. It's one game. I've been to it. I went a couple years ago.
It's the Charity Shield, right, or something like that.
I went. Yeah, exactly. Community Shield. Yeah,
something like that. And Thomas Tuchel was like, I wanted to make sure that my Bayern München German Super Cup trophy was protected. I didn't want Roberto De Zerbi or whoever's coming in to ruin it. And I'm just like, amen, Tuchel. Because he's been gone for weeks, so they keep having to ask all these questions. And in so many words, he keeps having to say he doesn't give a shit. He's just like guys, for crying out loud, I don't care. Stop asking me questions about this football club. I don't give a shit. And he just finally came out, and he's just getting so. If there's another game next week and they ask him more questions, he's just going to look at them and be like, guys, stop asking me questions.
It's just going to tell jokes.
I don't care about
Bayer Leverkusen wins the league with 17 points ahead. And they go unbeaten. Also, I mean, kind of taking it for granted now, it's worth saying they finished the entire season without a loss. That's never happened before.
Hey, you know what's cool about this too? Because they were showing all the Arsenal and the Invincibles. Apparently, Press North End also did it once upon a time. The difference between Bayer Leverkusen and the other clubs who did it, namely Arsenal and Real Madrid and Barcelona, is that Bayer Leverkusen is not a big club. Not only were they undefeated, they were undefeated as like a mid-level club, a high to mid-level club. Mm-hmm. So they're, let's call them an upper middle-class club, and they still have 2 games left, and I think they're going to do it. They got Kaiserslautern, they got Atalanta. Yep. And for me, we should sit here. So the Bundesliga is over. We should sit here and appreciate the fact, live in it. I feel it hasn't even sunk into me yet, that finally, after 11 long years, we have a new champion.
We have a new champion, yeah.
And it's one we would have never expected.
We knew this now for a while, so it's not as,
That's another thing.
But no, that's true. I
wanted to bring up, that's like, not only do we have a new champion, we have quite the new champ. He was a new champ. They were new champions in February.
Destroyed,
at
yeah.
the beginning of the year, I thought the African Cup of Nations were going to get him. Victor Boniface's injury was going to get him. But no, it's Xabi Alonso. It was a full roster. It was a full team. Granit Xhaka at 34 was still plugging along. And all the Patrick Schick and Nathan Tella and Florian Wirtz.
Everybody worked out. Florian Wirtz is going to be a
Jonathan Tah all had seasons of their lives, and they really made it happen, and they won. So we got a new champion again. Like I said, I would love for the Bundesliga to be tight. Maybe Bayern München can come back, and Bayer Leverkusen and Bayern München can be a 2-horse race.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going to be as much of a blowout again. It'll be more competitive than this next season.
Well, that's the big quick. Can Bayer Leverkusen keep it up? The coach is staying. I think a lot of players are staying. And like David Reacher just said, the other story, there's a lot of stories here. The other thing is Stuttgart. They finished second place. They got second place with Stuttgart. Who thought that was going to happen? Right? So one of those things that Stuttgart's amazing season was overshadowed by Bayer Leverkusen. Sebastian Hoeneß is being overshadowed by Xabi Alonso, and Dennis Undav is being shadowed by, Patrick Schick, and all this. But the Stuttgart boys, like Chris Führing and Mittelstadt and Undav, they deserve plaudits, and I think we're going to see that. And I think thankfully they came at the right time because we're seeing that with the German national team. They're mixing it up a lot more. The Stuttgart and Leverkusen boys are getting involved as they should be. And Stuttgart had themselves also quite an amazing season.
David Reacher sneaking in his cup final prediction.
Yeah, we'll win the Pokal. Listen, that would be the upset of upsets. Hey, here's a question.
I'm gonna say it now. It's not gonna happen. Hold on. I watched some Kaiserslautern. They're not good.
Let's pretend Bayer Leverkusen lose their next 2 games. They lose the Pokal final. They lose the Europa League final. Is that a disappointment, or is it like it's done? Like you can do whatever you want.
It's going to be. Well, I mean, yes, and I mean both can be true. I mean, definitely they'll be. If they lose the cup final to Kaiserslautern, they're going to be disappointed.
It might just be funny. I don't know. It might be funny.
It's going to be funny to us. Maybe it's not going to be funny to them. And same with the Europa League. Yeah, at this point they want to go. I mean, they have clearly cared about this unbeaten situation, so they're not going to switch off. I mean, obviously Atalanta is going to be a little tighter. They're not pushovers necessarily, but Kaiserslautern, I have no faith in their ability. Maybe if it was at their state at the Betzenberg.
The Fritz-Walter Stadion.
But if they go, if they go to Berlin, that's not going to happen. And
the spirit of Fritz Walter. Come on.
I don't think so. But I'm gonna. I'm.
The spirit of Ottmar Walter. The lesser known of the
but this Bundesliga season is the feather in their cap. Nobody can take that away from them. They
won the biggest of the 3 titles. So good for Bayer Leverkusen.
Now Stuttgart will probably lose Guirassy though. That's definitely because he has a pretty. Or something? Or he has a. I think there's a lot of contenders, but he has a pretty modest release clause of 17.5 million or something, which by Premier League standards is basically nothing.
Brighton and so for the bench.
So he's probably gonna leave. And but then Undav will be there. I mean, Undav I'm a big fan of. Even when he was in Brighton, I liked him. And so he'll. I mean, they're obviously
Guirassy is linked to Borussia Dortmund, which will be interesting.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Dortmund trying to be Bayern light.
Bayern light buying up their competition,
taking it from their competition.
Dortmund also must be say. It's funny with all these stories. The Dortmund story is quite an interesting one. They're having themselves a season after their big choke, the great choke. They ended they're 6th place. It's not a great Bundesliga, but 5th place.
Yeah,
even
63. 5th. They're 27 points behind Leverkusen. They're 9 points behind Bayern still, even though Bayern is only 3rd. Yeah, so
due to a technicality, they're still going to Europe next year either way because of the new coefficients rule, which is
it's
another
not a
story.
Technicality. That's not a technicality. That is earned by good. Right, but it's.
Let's pretend the rules didn't change.
Would you have said before the season that German teams collectively will perform better than the Premier League teams? I wouldn't have.
No. It's done
So
well.
that's
But Dortmund
that's an accomplishment. It's not a technicality. But yes,
But
I
of all
hear your
German
point,
clubs, but of all the German clubs, Dortmund are up for the biggest title in all of the Bundesliga still.
Mm-hmm.
Let's pretend they win the UEFA Champions League. Are they the most successful team in the Bundesliga this year?
No.
They won the biggest title. They won the Champions League.
Yeah, but they're not this. I mean, Leverkusen went undefeated. No, this would be a great. Listen, they're huge underdogs. Let's say.
Yeah,
that.
I don't think Real Madrid are good. I think Real Madrid do have this one. But Dortmund have been playing really well in the Champions League. I mean, there's not a lot you could point to where they didn't perform well in the Champions League. Maybe it was a very conscious decision this year to really put all your eggs in the Champions League basket.
Oh,
I don't
come
know.
on. What?
I'm saying maybe. I don't know.
This is their strategy.
They lose 3-0 to Mainz and they go beat Paris Saint-Germain 2-1.
We're gonna take it easy in the Bundesliga and make the
Then
Champions League final?
how do you explain like struggling against Minnows and then going up against a PSG and Newcastle and all the gangs, all the people they took care of? They took care of PSG, but they couldn't take care of Mainz or.
I mean, you watch those games. They got very lucky. They were very good against PSG, and they were also very, very lucky. And
I think you're right. They're going to get a silver medal out of it and have quite a fun sort of. Like it's like we made the Champions League final this year.
And if they win it, they have huge bragging rights. I mean, it's not going to make them the best Bundesliga team, but it's going to,
It'll help our coefficients, and it'll send, on a technicality, I think it'll send Frankfurt to the Champions League next year.
Right.
If that happens.
True. But financially, we talked about this last week, financially it's better for them to lose because of the Jude Bellingham bonus.
That's a myth.
Oh, is that not true?
That's been debunked.
It has been?
Yeah, that was debunked. I think there was now, because I Googled it, I think that bonus clause or whatever is a myth or something.
Oh.
I think if they win, they get 20 million. If they lose, they get 5 million or something like that.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So they are motivated to
It's
win.
also not, I'm just learning, it's not this weekend. It's the weekend after.
Yeah, scheduling. Same with Columbus Crew. They're not up for another 2 weeks. I mean, all these finals, we're waiting on them.
Right.
So what? It's June 1st, right? They're both the first weekend of June, which is 2 weekends away, right?
However, the Europa League final is on Wednesday. That's the day after tomorrow. So that's happening.
Already?
That's happening now. Yeah.
And then the Pokal is Saturday. So Leverkusen have 2 games. They got a game on Wednesday.
Yeah, so they do have. I mean, I guess that's the one thing that Kaiserslautern have going for them. They are going to get them on short
rest
turnaround. Yeah.
Yeah. Why are they 2 weeks apart? The Europa League and the Champions League. Interesting. Is that usually the case?
So what's that?
Is that usually the case?
Yeah, I was wondering that too. I don't know. That's sort of a weird date for that. I don't know, but that's what's happening. And so yeah, it's either going to be one of these two teams are going to be in Europe, Kaiserslautern or Heidenheim. Kaiserslautern if they win the final, Heidenheim.
Let's go K-Town, baby.
If they don't, so yeah, I mean one
500,000 Americans, I think, in Kaiserslautern.
We're gonna have one crap team in Europe next year, one way or another.
I would love for Real Madrid to have to fly to Heidenheim.
It's a little bit, I'm all for more spots in Europe, but it's a little bit like, Heidenheim is like 9 points, at 9 points more than Bochum, and they, if there had been no stoppage time this year, Bochum would be in that spot. So
everybody can't get enough of Germany. Europe just wants Germany. They've earned
nobody
it.
wants
Euros this summer.
Nobody wants Heidenheim or Hoffenheim for that matter. I don't think.
Come on, Pellegrino Matarazzo, Zinsheim. That's amazing. We got to figure this out. Okay, and then we have another big question, another big Bundesliga question to wrap up. Who, Bjorn?
Yes.
Who?
Yes.
Who will be the head coach of Bayern München next season?
Nobody knows.
Roberto
De Zerbi is one. I mean, let's just pause here and acknowledge that they've been turned down by everybody, and so they are now really scraping. The bottom of the barrel is harsh, but like Roberto De Zerbi.
The bottom of the elite barrel. Let's put that.
He was kind of the bottom. Yeah, he was the. I think it's probably his job if he wants it, but he has other options. I don't know if he.
Bayern München were asked, is your next coach Italian? And they said, we can guarantee you he's not Italian. They did say that.
Oh.
So, knowing
he's
that
out?
as fact, Roberto De Zerbi clearly is not in the running. However, maybe Bayern München are lying? I don't know. Roberto De Zerbi is the hot, kind of like the Arne Slot of England. He's like the hot new coach. He was up for Liverpool. He's like up for stuff, you know.
But I mean, you know, Brighton did not do very well this season. They were like the hot team last year, and he has sort of a specific style, I guess, which is always what you like in a coach, a recognizable.
Full disclosure, I don't know anything about Roberto De Zerbi, to be honest. You also have to speak German in that job for the most part. I don't think he speaks German. That is points again. That's also why the Zinedine Zidane stuff always cracks me up. It's like he has no connection to München at all. So.
Well, anyway, the latest name today is Vincent Kompany. Vincent Kompany, who is the coach of Burnley, and Burnley just got relegated.
Yeah, that blows my mind. I don't know where you're reading that from. This was
I think it was Fab Romano who said this. So this is not. It's not like this is a done deal, but he's in the running, and
but that's quite the obscure hire. I mean, that's quite the obscure.
I mean, Vincent Kompany, he was
over Oliver Glasner.
Well, Oliver Glasner's not going anywhere. He did extremely well. He Crystal Palace.
Yeah, he's in talks with Bayern München right now.
Oh, he is. He's going to leave. Yeah, they've been talking.
The news last week was that Oliver Glasner rebuffed Bayern München. He turned him down. That was sort of a secret little news. But then the last thing I heard yesterday is that they've reopened talks or whatever. So it might still be they're back and forth.
Crystal Palace destroyed Aston Villa. They finished their season extremely well. He's done incredibly well with them. And I don't know. I don't know if
so the list of maybes.
If he's going to leave. Vincent Kompany was kind of a hot ticket when he got Burnley to get promoted, but Burnley did not do well in the Premier League. The three relegated Premier League teams were kind of the worst three in terms of points after a season in the last 20 years. They were all incredible, and the only reason that this was even tight was that Nottingham Forest got a points deduction. For violating fair play rules. So they were still they had some contact to them because of that. But anyway, so Vincent Kompany does not seem like a good choice.
No, it's a very random choice. Sorry, Joe. Another thing Bundesliga is going for it is we're the only league that isn't riddled with point deductions at the end of the season. Rearranging our tables for us. Manchester City winning a fourth straight with 215 violations. I believe that's the word on the street.
Well, charges. They're not 115. It's 115, and they're charges. You know.
How is that much better than 215?
Innocent until proven guilty. Well.
Although Cologne did get a point deduction earlier in the season, but they weren't in the Bundesliga. Oh no, they were in the Bundesliga. David Riccio, there was a Cologne point deduction story, but this might have been last season, not this season.
Yeah, it didn't happen though in the end. But
I don't think it happened. But either way, Italy has a point deduction situation. England's got a point deduction thing, and somewhere, was it Spain or Portugal? There was like a record point deduction where someone got like 40 points taken away or something. Anyway, there's none of that in the Bundesliga, baby. We're financially responsible.
Mm-hmm. To a fault at times.
Bayern München. So we had Oliver Glasner, Vincent Kompany, Hansi Flick, for whatever reason, still kind of being bandied about, but there's an issue there. Thomas Tuchel, there's rumors of him staying, but he has confirmed he is not staying.
Yes, that was briefly a thing, right? I saw that too, but he's
Erik
out.
Ten Hag, I thought, made a lot of sense, but that seemingly isn't a thing. I think he's staying at Man United. I don't know. Tuchel. The latest news I heard about Tuchel, by the way, which you'll love, is Tuchel's very strongly linked to a return to Chelsea, which would be crazy.
They're gonna let go of Pochettino. That'd be a mistake.
He's up for the Man United and Chelsea job apparently, which is why I don't understand why Erik Ten Hag is then up for the Bayern Munich job. I suggested this before. Erik Ten Hag Tuchel switch to me makes the most.
Switch him.
American style trade that makes the most sense. It's disaster for both, but
always
gets
always goes well. Dutch coach and Bayern always. What could go wrong?
Hey, Louis van Gaal did okay. He got us to the Champions League final, and we wanted us to Bundesliga. But anyway, so the Bayern München
to be continued. We don't know. We don't know yet.
To be continued.
But it's definitely. It's not exactly lines around the block of people trying to get that job.
And also sorry, what was I going to say? Lost my train of thought. Bayern Munich. Oh, also, are they leaking players? Well, Joshua Kimmich forever has been like, I'm not making a decision until I knew who the coach is. And it's like, well, it's summertime now. Is he off to Barcelona or wherever he wants to go? Who knows? This is something I actually do want to talk about. Thank you, David Riccio.
Yeah, Marco Reus is going to St. Louis, I think.
No, he said no to that. He quashed that.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So you know more than I do.
Roman Berkey, his buddy, tried to convince him, but him and his agent are like, why are we being linked to St. Louis? They're like, New York, LA, or Miami, bud. Right?
Oh, it's the usual.
And the LA Galaxy on the front runner to land Marco Reus, and I would be so happy. Please make that happen.
I think. I mean, I said this last week. It's like, he would be great in MLS, but he is so injury prone that
who cares?
It's a risk to give up to give him a lot of money.
From MLS, you mean?
Yeah, like giving if he would take up a DP spot and he takes a lot of your budget and then he's hurt half the time. What do you mean?
I don't know. I don't know what marshmallow cloud fluff vision of the MLS front office you live in. But no team signs old DPs to win games. They sign for jersey sales and player appearances.
But Marco
He's a winner when they sign.
Marco Reus moves the needle there in LA. How many shirts are the Galaxy going to sell?
The Germans will come out. The Germans will come out. Speaking of, I went down to Orange County to my favorite German village with a giant beer hall.
Oh, yeah, you sent me pictures.
The Orange County Borussia Dortmund Club are going to host a big Champions League final party there. Which is different. The LA Borussia Dortmund Club are throwing a big party in a different part of town. So the fact that this SoCal already has 2 or 3 different Borussia Dortmund clubs goes to tell you that Marco Reus would do well in LA. Maybe not New York or whatever, but in LA he'd do well. I think
we're. Well, all right. We'll wait and see. I think
I'll be there.
I think we're past that. Where we. I mean, how many? Yeah. All right.
Also, the thing, the Chicharito was injured because they don't really care. As long as they sit on the bench and they wave, they're fine. If you want to win titles, you just sign the young DPs. Which is what they're doing. Okay. No one signs Marco Reus to win an MLS Cup. Chicago didn't sign Shaqiri to win MLS Cup. And by the way, it's not even going to be close for those guys.
How many shirts did he sell? Like, I don't know. Is that like
sure,
it was worth it for them? Oh, all the.
I'm sure it was.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't. I'm not. I don't get the spreadsheets. I don't get the spreadsheets with the merch numbers. I don't think. I mean, if he takes up a multi-million-dollar DP spot, that's a lot of shirts you got to sell. I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't know what you're. Who cares? I don't care. I want Marco Reus here. I want to see him every week. Wouldn't you want Marco Reus to come to NYCFC? Would you just be like, oh, we should save the money?
I'm torn. No, I'm genuinely conflicted. I think he would be great. I mean, we have all the wingers right now, so I don't think we're in the running. But
well, he'd be a number 10, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean that'd be fun. No,
yeah, well,
I would love to see him. I would love to see him.
Bring Richie Ledesma back. You're right.
I would love to see him.
Bring Richie Ledesma back.
Nobody wants him. He was a total flop.
Yeah, but
no, but I'm saying if you had a crystal ball and you told me that he was healthy most of the time and he would play every week, I'd be like, this is the fantastic, great. But he's missed a lot of time. He's no spring chicken. And if he doesn't play, then what's the point?
Did the LAFC lose the title because Giorgio Chiellini was a 38-year-old who came off the bench? No, he was a locker room guy. He was a pepper. He was fluff.
He didn't. He's Marco Reus is going to be more expensive than that.
You think? I mean, multi-million-dollar DP. Those key.
For sure.
But Marco, LA Galaxy is amazing. They've been rebirthed. They're one of the top teams in the West right now. They're great. Marco Reus would just be peppered to that steak, man. He couldn't hurt. More firepower.
They got these two lively new wingers. Like one of them's gonna. Yeah, I don't know. These are fragile.
Through the middle.
These are fragile ecosystems. These MLS rosters, and I understand the. I understand the appeal. I understand the appeal. What?
the anti-voice coming from you right now. I can't handle it, man.
Not anti.
I don't like this noise, David. I don't like this noise.
I am just I'm just cautioning. Just cautioning. He's not going to go to the New England Revolution.
They could use him.
Meltdown. Talk about meltdowns. He's going to go to Bochum before he goes to New England.
Yeah, they could use him there, couldn't they?
For sure. Can
nice
start
turf.
Can he play Thursday?
This is what I want.
Oh, in New England, you mean? New England, they could use
I want Thomas Muller and Marco Reus to play together for the LA Galaxy. Would that be amazing? I would go every week. I'd buy season tickets. I would love it.
Sure. But I mean, it was like when Schweinsteiger
went to Chicago.
It was great. I mean, it was great. It was okay. We turned on him immediately when he was playing in New York, and he fouled one of our players, or and we were like, yeah, I don't know.
Felipe Martins was his greatest enemy. He brought him up on the podcast. Schweinsteiger. There's a podcast hosted by Dax McCarty and Alan Gordon.
Oh, that Schweinsteiger was on.
That was on like a month ago.
I do want to listen to that.
And no one knows. It's like 100 views. It's one of these things. It's one of those beauties of YouTube, like us. The most beautiful content.
Like a fine wine. Yeah.
The most beautiful content can just be found unattended somewhere in the corners of YouTube. Right. And Schweini really brought up Felipe Martins, who was a big New York Red Bulls player. He plays for Vancouver now, I believe. He still plays. Yeah, it was a real effort. He got under people's skins, and he really got under Schweini's skin.
Oh yeah, he's a dirty man. Yeah, for sure. He bothered me too. Anyway, we're already here in the late stages of this hour, but we can't end the Deutschland Hour without acknowledging the end of an era, which is Jürgen Klopp. The other big retirement, Reus, obviously, his last game in Dortmund, that was a big deal. But even more, so Jürgen Klopp is leaving
also going to the Galaxy.
Liverpool,
also went to the Galaxy.
And also not coaching Bayern next season. Yeah, it was a tearful. It was, I guess it was actually not that tearful. He seemed pretty joyous, actually. I mean, it was obviously a very sweet event. Liverpool won. They finished third. They already dropped out of the title race a few weeks ago. So there was not a lot on the line, but they played well, and there were hugs everywhere and praises. Pep Guardiola shed a tear.
Yeah.
Said he was going to miss his old rival, and
his greatest foil. They matched wits in the Bundesliga between Dortmund and Bayern, and they matched wits in England between Liverpool and Man City. They were each other's greatest foil, the Moriarty to his Sherlock Holmes.
And of course, everybody's just counting the days. They're like, oh, he's going to take a couple months off, and then he's going to get a job. But he did not say that. He said he may be done forever. He doesn't know. He keeps it. He's envisioning a long break. He's not looking, and he feels pretty empty, pretty burnt out at this point. Mm-hmm. And it's not going to be a quick turnaround.
Well, Pep did
he's
that
thinking
once.
he's thinking he's going to take a long break.
Remember Pep's sabbatical before he took over Bayern. He was in New York for a year. Mm-hmm. I guess in my mind, I think Jürgen Klopp is going to take a full season off. I think he's not going to ever.
Well, he's saying he may not come back at all.
Yeah, but that's easy to say. That's easy to say. You don't put your heart and soul into a club. Give it a year, he'll want to jump right back into it again. I mean, a human being isn't engineered to just turn that off like a light switch. But let's pretend maybe he comes back as a football director or as a pundit or something. He was a pundit once upon a time before.
Yeah, but that's a different thing.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, in your theory, maybe he never coaches again. I don't know what'll happen to Klopp. I mean, will he be the national team coach?
I mean, I don't know. It's not my theory. It's what he said.
Right.
It's to be continued. I mean, he's gonna obviously anytime there's a big, starting 3 months from now, anytime there's a big job, a big opening someplace, his name's
Jürgen Klopp. Maybe Jürgen Klopp. Let's be his manager.
But it's like Zinedine Zidane. He's been hanging out. He hasn't. He has a lot of options.
All Zidane ever did was coach his old club. Like he's not.
He's not a coach. He's not a coach through and through. Yeah.
Well, what I'm saying is Zidane took over Real Madrid with a bunch of big stars. It was his club, You know, that I think he lives in Madrid or whatever. You know, Zinedine Zidane isn't a freelance coach going around getting gigs. He caretaked Real Madrid with energy, won 3 Champions Leagues in a row, and then that's all he did. So that's why it's funny when I see him linked to other clubs. I'm just like, I don't know. I think it's really just Real Madrid that is a thing. You can go back.
That is a possibility for him. Okay.
There's coaches who are coaches, and there's club folk, people who are club folk. Mm-hmm. And I looked at Zinedine Zidane as someone who's more of a club folk than an out-and-out coach. But yeah, I'm curious.
It's hard to know. You don't know.
Dortmund legend, Mainz legend, now Liverpool legend. Everywhere he touches turns to gold. The man is real. Yeah. And if he never comes back to coaching, it'll be a big loss, I think, to the coaching world. Mm-hmm. Maybe he's a coaching teacher now. Maybe he runs workshops for the DFB, and he's just like a coaching
online
professor.
Classes, how to be a coach.
Let's take those.
He'll run it. Yeah, I would sign up. Pep Guardiola, this is obviously minor news, but Pep Guardiola is in the last year of his contract, and so he has 1 season left, and he says he wants to do that, but he doesn't know that he's going to extend. So that's going to be the next season's constant speculation. And of course,
he's going to let his contract expire, and Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola are going to coach Real Madrid and Barcelona respectively moving forward, and then battles begin.
I absolutely expect Pep Guardiola to coach NYCFC at some point. I think that's absolutely.
Then Jurgen comes out to Galaxy under Royce.
Jurgen comes back to coach the Red Bulls,
and we get the real Pep we get it here at MLS, right?
Yeah. But speaking of derbies, we're gonna switch. It's time to switch over. My mood is gonna lift.
We didn't talk about the German national team. We didn't talk about the German national team. The roster was released.
Oh, right.
4 goalkeepers. No Julian Brandt is the only thing. Other than that, it seems pretty tight. No
Mats Hummels. No
because
Zule,
he's an old dude.
No Goretzka. Yeah.
Have you seen the photos of Fat Zula, by the way? Fatty
no,
Zula?
I have not.
God, he's fat. He's got really fat.
All right. Okay.
Fatty Zula. Look him up for the home. Yeah, it's hard to find it.
Well.
Well, what?
No, nothing.
Said, well,
I thought you were going to say something.
No, you were saying something.
Well, this is it. I was going to say, this is it for the USA Hour. Thanks for tuning in.
This is it for the Germany Hour.
I mean, come over to the USA Hour. You're not going to regret it. I mean, there's so much to talk about.
Yeah, the raccoon is the biggest news in American soccer.
Daniel Young, one of our listeners, Daniel Young and I hung out for the Derby in Citi Field.
Tell me everything about that, because I want to know.
It was a beautiful, beautiful thing.
All right, everybody, just see you over the USA Hour. It's the Germany Hour, capping off a beautiful, beautiful season of German soccer, we have to admit. It's not over yet, because we got Bochum, and we got the Pokal final, and we've got the Champions League and Europa League final, leading into the Euros.
We got a couple more weeks before we perhaps can contemplate a summer break, but then there's the Euro coming up. Anyway, we have lots of things to talk about.
Ciao, David. Ciao, everybody else.
Ciao.
Cheers.
Tschüss.